I don't think I can speak for everyone, but I think that's there's a pretty good consensus that we want to move forward. That's the reason why I'm asking that we look at options, because if we get one option presented to the delegation, we're going to get into discussions again about what if we do this, what if we do that.
Absolutely right.
If we get a couple, or 2, 3 reasonable options, then I think we're ready to pick and choose, combine whatever we want to do, and then move forward and get it done. I think we do have to move forward. I don't think there's going to be that just coming up with one option, here it is, and then we have to go back to the drawing board. We do this all the time. I think if we could have a couple of options, look at them, make a decision, and then move forward. We know there's a dollar constriction on it. We know what the restraints are. We know those parameters. Within that, let's make the decision and then move forward.
Okay. Representative Schmidt.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. However, if you're going to prepare options, and I think I'm reading Joe's mind, which is leave the whole facility up, then let's have a meaningful cost comparison. That is, then tell me what the cost going forward will be to maintain those wings, heat those wings, put a new roof over those wings for empty space for the next 20 years. You know, so I don't want to have a cut and dry, we leave the wings, we have no expense. Yes, we do. And that's my only thing there. So, you know, if we're going to go into that, then let's go all the way.
Representative Schmidt, so, and I'll come to you, Representative McCarthy. To use a term that's been bantered around here, you're not looking for a proposal that would even suggest mothballing part of an existing building. You're looking for if they could come back at $1 million and preserve and keep whole for 20 years, that were real numbers, that were the cost to heat, maintain, and so forth. That's the type of study that.
What I was really hoping is, I thought in the last hour, I thought we made more progress here than we've made in the past 4 months. And I think logically, the county has now defined what their requirements are. I mean, that is so basic to going forward. So now we have it. If the county is happy with what's been presented there, I don't know whether they are or they aren't, but they have until March 15th to figure that out. If they are, then the plan going forward, that's all it should do.
Correct.
Not one dime more.
So I would reject the thought of the subcommittee suggesting expanding the scope beyond these two.
Correct.
Representative McCarthy.
I agree with the chair. I disagree with Representative Fleck. We are not the delegation. We are a subcommittee. We are making what we think, a proposal as to what we think is the best thing to do. And if the delegation doesn't like it, they can change it. But I don't think we ought to speak for the delegation. We speak as a subcommittee.
Thank you. Before we go forward and just have a ruling on this, or if there's any further suggestions.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Could you list what you included in there, in your motion?
Commissioner, I'd be more than happy to open it up after we finish our discussion here. Okay. We plan on making a meaningful statement here.
Okay.
But before we get there, I wanted to go back to a point made by Representative Smith. We met here previously. We asked what exactly are the needs of the maintenance, what are the needs for laundry, what are needs for the boiler. Those needs were identified. I would suggest that we stay on track, and if you want to go expand beyond that back to the land of maybe, which is where we've lived for years, then you're welcome to do that. But I think the statement that we're making great progress here is true, and I'd like to see if we can come to an agreement as a majority opinion on what we have stated. Representative Unberger, could you?
Sure. All right, draft not to exceed $1 million for the removal of 4 wings and related costs, shortening of the core that will allow the pellet boiler laundry maintenance at approximately 3,000 square feet, which is unspecified, and the roof for 20 years. Okay, that was part A. Part B is the cost for a standalone facility.
That would meet those needs.
Yeah.
Subcommittee understand what the recommendation is at this point? Discussion by the subcommittee? Commissioner Sorensen?
I just want to find out what you had listed as what you wanted to keep in the core. You said pellet boilers, laundry,
pellet boiler, maintenance,
and
and
electrical room?
and approximately 3,000 square feet of unspecified roof for 20, and a roof for 20 years.
So your electrical is a given.
Right.
It's
Okay.
already in there.
The
They'll work
generator
around
is
that.
there.
Okay.
What's that?
The generator
Generator is
Basically,
there.
keep the existing systems, Dave, and then we'll end up with
Okay.
3,000.
I agree.
I
3,000 square feet.
I think I know what they want.
Okay.
I hope I know what they want.
Wait for Representative Merrill to return. He didn't leave, did he?
No, his paper's there.
Now his glasses are here.
Harry, would you like to hear where we are with the motion?
Please.
Okay, I guess I should say draft a plan, right?
Yes.
I was reading too fast. Not to exceed $1 million, including removal of 4 wings, related cost, that's
Wall and fills. and-
wall fills and whatever all that stuff is. Shortening of the core that will allow pellet boiler, laundry, maintenance, and approximately 3,000 square feet unspecified, and the roof,
Additional space.
yeah, and a roof for 20 years. And then secondly, a standalone facility that would meet these needs.
Asking for 2 options.
The second one would mean tear everything down. Build a regular, is that what you're talking about?
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't, you know, tear the building down.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Okay, with that, all those in favor of the subcommittee will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion passes and is unanimous. Melissa, did you have a point, question?
On the second part of that, there was a standalone building to meet those needs. Do those needs include that 3,000 square feet of office space? Just to
Correct.
check that.
Okay.
I'll just put 3,000 square feet of empty space.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I just ask you a question? On that standalone building, you're not talking about moving the pellet boiler and all that stuff at all. You're talking about a separate standalone building to meet these needs?
It would be for Bonnet, Page, and Stone to come up with, and whether they're gonna spend much time on it or not, I don't know, but
Okay.
what it would cost if everything was taken down and they put up a standalone building that met those needs.
You'd want to,
Around the boiler.
theoretically, if you did that, you'd want to put it back in the same place,
Yeah.
because the utilities are all
Yeah.
there.
Okay, so we're clear on that? All right, the last meeting of the delegation, a motion was passed and asked the commissioners to bring forward where you have the authority, and I won't quote that. Have the commissioners had time to prepare a statement to that effect? And if you could, speak to that real briefly and give us our written statement.
Sure. In March of 2010, county delegation approved a $400,100 federal grant for the purchase of pellet boilers and laying the piping for that project. It logically follows, since the boilers being installed in the old building would be used to heat the new building as the piping was laid between the two. This is because the pellet boilers were to be the primary source of heat for the new home and propane the backup fuel source. Thus, the commissioners expected the cost of installation would come from the $23,500,000 budget for the building of the new nursing home.
Thank you, Commissioner. I believe in the statement it referenced an RSA, 2 RSAs, and minutes that were contained in the motion. Have you responded to that, or is it the opinion of the commissioners that your response that you're giving us in writing indeed provides you the authority and you don't have to address the RSAs?
I'm not sure what RSA you are talking about.
There was specifically an RSA mentioned in a,
No.
Is it the case of not spending something that is not already in the budget?
it was, I believe there's a formal proposal. I don't want to get behind where we are at this point, but I believe.
Read out several different times. I don't know how they didn't get to copy it down.
Let's not go any further.
Commissioner,
we'd love to accept your written proposal on that so that we have that and we'll distribute it to the rest of the delegation, and that'll be business, brought up at a future time.
Point of order.
Hold on, let us finish our work here. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna give me that,
Yeah, I can give it.
so I can get it.
Okay, thank you.
Just specifically the RSA, Representative Ogren read into the record RSA 24:13.
Thank you.
I couldn't remember that.
I know that it's in the motion. Okay. Does the subcommittee have any other business that we should conduct? Representative Umberger.
Yes. I read through these contracts, which just were better than reading through the dedicated fund report that I also read through for...
More exciting.
Yeah, more exciting. So, just a couple of questions. In the contract to put in the pellet boiler, it talked about 3 different pumps. And it said pump 1 serves the original building, pump 2 serves the new building, and then later on in here there was a pump 3, which and I'm just very confused about how many pumps we have, and if we are reducing the size of the building, the old nursing home, does it make sense to expend the money to hook up the old nursing home when we're looking at 10,000 square feet, and that we already have the, the furnace in there? And I don't expect an answer today, but I will ask the same question on Monday, because I didn't see any duplication, which, until we actually had these, that was a question that I'm not sure that we could answer. But pump 3 has, I just don't know what it's for. And if someone can give me a quick answer, I'd appreciate it. But if it's a lengthy answer.
Thank you, Representative. Does Commissioner, you or Bonpage Stone wish to try and answer that?
I'm just going to say, I'll get the answer for you for Monday. But the quick answer on the other building is if you are keeping a portion of the building, it's most likely worth hooking it up. Because the design was never, and I'll check that as well with your engineer, McGill Engineering designed it, and I don't recall the exact parameter, but I know he knew of wings coming down.
Yeah,
So
just a
he
core.
designed it with a certain capacity, and I honestly don't know that off the top of my head. It was at least the core, if not the core and a little more, but I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I'll have to ask him.
It was just a core. Just a core.
So it may be slightly over-designed, but if we reduce it in square footage, but the good news is, why not use it? It's the local source of fuel. It gives you options. I mean, it's.
Thank you. Before we close, I'd just like to go back to a couple of points. Like Representative Umberger, who enjoys spending evening hours piling through contracts, one of my favorite activities is to watch the commissioners recording on a weekly basis when government website is kind enough to forward it to me. And I have seen repeatedly questioning by people that are present the authority of the subcommittee whose apparition it was to form this committee and so forth. I'd just like to make a statement that the subcommittee was formed in a delegation meeting by Representative Patton. It was done in full sunlight. With my eagerness to see a building built, I was appointed as chairman of that. Delegation members were asked who was in interest to be part of that committee, and I think you'll see that there are members that we are not of all like mind on this subcommittee, and so that there was no pigeonholing of who those members would be. So I would hope that would put to rest how this committee came back, and that we as delegation members are working in earnest with the commissioners to provide the best product we can for the least amount of money for our people. Is there any other business before the subcommittee? I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed will say nay. Thank you.
You sure you're ready to move? Probably think about humanity for 5 weeks.
I think there's nothing wrong here.
Good job.
Thank you, Steve.